Am I live? Hopefully that is live right now. It says I'm live, streaming. And I'm live. Am I good? Yep, we're good. Put my beanie on because I'm not a fan of how my hair is right now. Alright. Checking. Alright. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Just gonna give you guys a couple minutes for some people to hop in. Hopefully the connection is good on all fronts, from Instagram right here, YouTube and Facebook right here, and on this side right here I'm filming it with my camera. What up, Alejandro? Thanks for hopping on. So today I'm gonna be answering, I used to do this like, what up, Amber? I love you, hope you're doing well and not spreading your drugs. Alright, so I used to do this every week pre-quarantine, but since everyone decided to start teaching online and things have gone a little crazy in regards to work, I've taken a break. But I'm gonna start trying to get back into it weekly. So this is what I call the Sunday Q&A, where I take your questions here, but I also have questions that I've like put on the backlog of answering, and I'm gonna be answering them today just to make things easier on my end, and hopefully and I found that these questions are not just valuable for the person to get the answer to, but I figured it'd be questions and I figured these questions are also going to be the answers to these questions are also going to be valuable to people who might not have thought about it, or anyone who's related to it. So today I feel like this is such a small world. So shouts out to people on Instagram right now, people watching on YouTube and Facebook. I'm also going to be recording this on my SLR, so that way we get the nice high quality version with the audio. So again, if it's your first time hopping on here, I'm going to be answering questions on dance because I'm a professional dancer. Worked with Amber on plenty of projects. I'm also also with social media. I can't talk right now. It's been a while since I've done this. Also social media, because I run a social media company called Vision Paradox, and some personal development stuff because I like the whole personal development thing. Amber, I feel like we can connect on that because we both are all big on personal development right now. And if I feel like I'm stumbling a lot and I feel awkward, but I'm just gonna roll with it. So again, if you guys are gonna like this stuff, I am gonna be producing this and sharing it on YouTube, each to their own questions, so that way you can always refer back to whatever answer that I gave. And if you guys got questions of your own, feel free to drop it down in the comments down below, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or watching this on the replay. And then I'll add that into the backlog, and I'll also try to answer it here live as well. So let me drink some I love you coffee. All right, so the first round of questions I'm going to be answering, I have it on my big screen here, is in regards to dance, because that's what I primarily share on Instagram and on my YouTube. The first question is pretty light, is how do dancers get their nicknames? Do they come up with it on their own? Okay, it's a pretty lighthearted question. I think I earned my nickname. I think the common thing is that you earn it. It's really weird, I don't know, for you to go to a battle or go to a jam or whatever and come, I don't know, and come with your own AK as Beastmaster. I've been watching Community. So yeah, I don't think people self-name it. I unless you guys know anyone, but for me, I was dubbed Almond Joy back in like 2008, 2009. I don't really rock it because I like my name. It's unique enough. It's because it's a combination of my mom and dad's name, Emmy and Roy. So as far as I know, people are dubbed their nicknames based off the vibe they get, based off their big homie, whoever they're learning under, or just a name that sticks that everyone just seems to be calling you with. So next question in regards to dance. Excuse me. That was sexy. For competitive dancers out there, how long did it take for you to get on a team? I've been dancing for 7 years and I want to audition this summer or fall. What did it require to get in? Example, skills, audition requirements, etc. I'm open to hearing what some of you guys are going to say. When I started doing competitive dancing with Family Business, I started that company because the teams when I started was back in 2004. The only teams that exist were really Team Millennia, Pac Modern, and Cabo Modern, all of which were at least 25 plus miles away from me. Team Millennia being Orange County, Cabo Modern in Irvine, and Pac Modern in Long Beach. So those were drives, and as a broke college student, I was not down for to drive all the way out there just to audition for a team and dedicate long hours for whatever we were doing. So I started my own competitive dance crew back in 2004, which they are still going. They're my last season, which was like the best season I left off because we won a championship. Like it was like a streaks of we got a lot of W's that season, but ooh, that's a great quote. I'll get to that in a bit, and when I get to the personal development stuff, people who are giving up on their passion. I appreciate the question there. I'll get to that in a bit, but right now I'm going to get to this question. So, what I think requires to make it into a competitive team is not just a technical skill, but you have to show that you have the personality to be a part of the team. Because it's what, as a director, what I looked for when I was watching people. Excuse me. Hi Max. As a director, when I was watching people, when I would watch people at auditions, I would literally go to say hi to every single person in the audition, try to get to know them, see where they're from, yada yada yada. And then we would do these smaller interview portions because what directors are looking for is not just a talent. At least for me, speaking for myself, I'm not looking just for talented dancers. I'm looking for people who can mesh well with everyone else. Because if someone brings negative vibes and energy, it can be a cancer to the whole competitive season and make it not as fun. And dancing is pretty much one of the funnest activities anyone can do. So, I would say skill, not just working on your skill, but work on your interpersonal skills. I think that's super undervalued for a lot of people because a lot of people focus too much on being really talented. But if you're a talented asshole, or if you're talented and socially awkward, I'm not gonna bash anyone socially awkward, but it's important for you to be able to handle yourself in situations when working with a team. If you're not able to do that, then consider it tough to be working throughout the whole season, as I just said. Okay, so next question. Those of you guys asking for shout outs, chill. You haven't done anything to merit a shout out. So, alright, so next question is I want to be a hip hop dancer when I'm older, but my mom says one little slip up or injury and your career will be over. How will I change her mind? That's one thing I used to think about a lot, like one small injury, but the fact is you're just gonna rack up a fuck ton of injuries and still keep going. It's like, injuries, it's part of the territory. I think I don't think that helps your argument in pursuing dance as a career, because if anything, your mom's gonna be like, oh hell no, you're gonna be a fucking doctor or a lawyer instead. Fuck this dance shit. Especially if you're Filipino, if your parents are Asian or Filipino or all that. They're gonna be saying like, stop dancing, it's just a fucking hobby and all that stuff. It's true. One major injury can make it, can in a sense end your career, but at the same time, like, it's better than wondering like, what if, like, and regretting that you never gave yourself a shot because you let someone's opinion affect you. Albeit it's their mom, you want to love your mom, you want to respect your mom, but it's also your life. It's also your decision on what career path you want to go on. So that's up to you. I don't think it sounds like she's set already where she is. So I've come to learn if someone's already set with their decision, it's pointless to try to butt heads, but because they've already set their view, especially when the older people get, they're set on their views. So the next thing, So what I would do is, say it's a hobby, write down like, oh, it's just for fun, whatever, yada yada yada, to get her off your back. Okay, that way there's no pressure on you while you're pursuing it. Do whatever you gotta do to support yourself in the meantime. But then once you start producing results for yourself, I don't know, first music video gig, booked for a tour, whatever it is, start making money doing it. That's where you can show her. Like, I think in America's Best Dance Crew, like the first season, some of my friends on there were called Modern, and they said like their their parents, they straight up said their parents kind of doubted the whole dance thing, but the fact that they were on TV and they were making something for themselves, that kind of convinced their parents to their opinions about dancing. So that's one thing to I guess help with your argument. If you can produce results that it's going to be a career that you can do for a long time. I mean, 30 or 40 years old in dancing is pretty is pretty old, but find a way to make it long term for you and produce results in some way, or come up with a game plan. I think that'll help your case. So, but forcing them to think that without any results is going to be tough. So yeah, that's the questions on 3 questions on dance so far. Skeptic, I know you asked a question about people who feel like giving their a speech on people who feel like giving up on their passion. So I'm gonna get to that after I answer some of the social media stuff. So shout out to everyone on. Now I'm gonna give shouts out. Shout out to people on Twitch, QXXZ, Facebook, Kit, and everyone right now on the. Damn, there's a lot of people that came in and out on this Instagram. So Skeptic, Elo, Max, Diaz. Did I say Amber already? Amber and Alejandro. Appreciate you guys being on here. So next 3 questions are going to be doing. So if you guys got any questions yourself, feel free to drop them down below. I will partition them according to whatever topic I'm thinking about right now, because answering stuff about dance is different with answering stuff about social media and answering stuff about personal development. So I have to switch gears every time I'm answering different questions. So just to bear that in mind. That's why I'm kind of saving it for last. So what up, Jay? Appreciate you hopping on. My nose is itchy. I'm really tempted to pick it, but so Jay, this is something I used to do every weekend. It would be a live Sunday Q&A. I'm just answering questions on dance, social media, and personal development. A lot of which I've collected throughout the weeks. So if you guys are liking this stuff, make sure you hit me a follow. If you guys want to see this content as individual questions, pick what? I'll pick my nose. If you guys want to see the individual questions, I will be uploading this on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. Links in the bio and everything. Same thing with you guys on Facebook and on Twitch and everywhere else. I'm streaming this everywhere. Okay, I feel like I'm getting back into the groove of just freestyling it. So, okay, so the next questions I'm going to be answering are social media stuff next. Are on social media. Okay, and this is going to be relevant for those of you who are trying to build your own personal brand or doing anything in regards to that. And I was actually going to be doing this about an hour and a half ago, but things are literally hitting the fan with a client right now. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But part of business, and you just gotta keep it moving. All right, so shouts to everyone hopping on right now. So this is, and those of you who are on Facebook, yes, this is an actual live. I know I sometimes do pre-recorded stuff. All right, so what up, Sayed? So how do you? Ooh, that's a fantastic question. Before I'm gonna answer that question before I do the social media stuff right now. Damn, that was a good question. Hello, love. Asked, how do you own your individuality as a dancer? So, I'm lucky your phone died. That's a tough question, because I remember joining a company called Culture Shock back in 2008, and it was a very, very, I'd say, it's a pretty big company and well known, I'd say, internationally, because they have a lot of different branches out there. In terms of owning your dancing, I think that comes with building your confidence, and I think building your confidence comes with getting those wins over time. I didn't start feeling last year I did a performance with Culture Shock alumni, and I felt like 10 times more confident where I am with my skill now compared to back then in 2008. I think it's something that happens over time, where you accumulate and start and continue building your body of work, and continue to find your own worth as you go through your own journey in dancing, because everyone's gonna have oh man, I thought I charged this thing. So everyone's gonna have their own journey. Sorry, that kind of threw me off. But yeah, everyone's gonna have their own journey, and eventually you'll find your own way. I think the worst thing you can do, and that hinders yourself in your owning your individuality, is comparing yourself to your other castmates or other people who are in company or watching on YouTube or Instagram, getting into the comparison trap, because that's one thing that held me back. Because when I was in Culture Shock 2008, there was all these amazing dancers, and I'm not gonna name drop, but they were beast. They went on to compete on America's Best Dance Crew. They went on to start their own brand. They're pretty popular online now, but yeah, and I would find myself always comparing them and then not really focusing on my own thing. So work on yourself, work on your own skills, test it, and then get feedback, and keep put yourself in what I call pressure situations, because when you can perform under pressure, that's where you can start owning your own self when things get hard. Hope that answers your question. So that's what I think can help you with owning your individuality, because when you perform in front of people are going to be looking towards you, and then if you haven't had enough experience performing, then it's going to be hard to find that self. You eventually get to a point where you feel comfortable and you can just let loose. I remember one of my performances back in Max Out 2009. I'm here looking for a locking class. Not happening. Not joining that fat. So, there was a point in 2009 where I was performing on stage. I was so comfortable, like, with everything I had been doing, that I was just yelling random shit while I was performing. And then I also got to a point where I was like, damn, I'm just bored. I was doing the choreography, so that's where it becomes more of a mental game instead of just a skill game. So, hello, love. I hope that answers your question. So, next question in regards, going back to the switching topics, not going to social media. Those of you guys are interested in that stuff, feel free to stay. If you guys want to bounce, feel free to bounce, because I am trying to cover as many bases as I can in regards to the stuff I know. So, yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great to know, Elo. I'm gonna try to compartmentalize reading comments and answer questions. So, is social media marketing the most efficient way to sell a novel? Okay, I don't remember when I got this question, but I feel like it's an interesting thing. There's a lot of things that people try to sell online that are kind of, I think, are difficult. But I think selling a novel online beats trying to do traditional and sort of trying to put it on the TV because no one's paying attention to there. I think you would have to. I think it's an efficient way. I'll try to do it every Sunday. So I think you would have to be creative, and I think that's what I like about doing social media, because you could find so many different ways to sell a novel. My favorite thing right now, and I don't care for it, is fucking Daniel Radcliffe reading like the first chapter of Harry Potter, and that's badass. Like, it brings life back to the series, brings a lot of attention to what his successes are, and I think that's something you can do for yourself. Either you can hire a voice actor to read the novel, or if you can find a collaboration with some sort of influencer to read the book for you, create sort of memes about it. I think that's one of my favorite stories about, I think, Lil Nas X. That's why it never died. But with one of my favorite things about Lil Nas X was how he marketed his music. He just created nothing but memes with his track playing in the background. So it can be similar in your sense. Just 5 people doing TikTok voiceovers to the voiceover actors that you hired to create for the novel. So there's a lot. I think it's probably the better way, the best way. Just there's so many ways to approach it. It's just really split testing it and finding out which is the most effective way to go about it. So, more dance questions. Let me finish these questions and I'll get. So, what up, Rithing? I'm gonna get to these questions after I answer all this other stuff. I'm getting a lot more questions than I expected today. Okay, so what's the first step in developing and implementing a social media marketing campaign? I think the first thing you got to keep in mind is what's your end goal. What do you want to achieve? Because people I want 10,000 followers, and then what? You fucking get validation from people who don't give a fuck. So what are you gonna do with that followers? Are you gonna monetize it by selling merch? Are you gonna do sponsorships? You got to figure out what the end goal is and then work backwards there. So and then especially if you're a product company, if you're trying to sell a product, you got to figure out who your audience is. Are they going to be on LinkedIn? Are they going to be on TikTok? Are they going to be on Instagram? Figure out who your audience is, and then I'd say like step one, know what you want to happen, know where your audience is, and then start going all in whatever platform they're in. I'd say because TikTok is so huge right now, I'd say focus a lot on TikTok. I'd say like 2 times a day, and then everything else on the other platforms. So, yes, that's a quick first steps. Okay, know what you want to happen, and figure out who you're trying to market to. Okay, I'm gonna get to these questions, guys. Amber, I hate you. Maxie, I love you. Okay, so next is, can social media marketing really help my business during the coronavirus pandemic? I think it'll help in the sense of building brand awareness in regards to I know it's super cheesy right now, but a lot of these big companies right now are doing like these feel good type of content. It's like, we're there with you, yada yada yada. I know we can't go anywhere and all that stuff. I think in terms of brand awareness, you can do that kind of content. It doesn't have to be super cheesy, cliche, but it can be something that's useful. It can be entertaining or empowering, which is what a lot of people are doing right now. They're going towards the super empowering route. So, and what I would highly discourage in regards to social media marketing is do not try to sell shit right now, because a lot of people are unemployed and people are really being tight with their money, and the amount of spending that Americans are going to be doing is very small. The people are still spending shit on Amazon, but it's probably not super fucking crazy. They're not, but who knows? Some people might have used their stimulus check for some crazy shit on Amazon. But even then, there's gonna be a point where people are gonna be super tight with their money. They're gonna try to limit spending because the amount of money coming in is not as much as it was months ago. So what I would do right now as a business is do things that would be beneficial to the user, that really just helps better their life, because because then without having to try to push for a transaction, they'll start to see you as an authority of like, oh hey, this person gives great advice in, I don't know, fucking cleaning my house in 10 minutes, or this person gave me useful tips on how to fix my car because I can't afford to go to the auto mechanic. So things like that, that you can help be somehow useful or beneficial to the regular people. Like what a lot of dancers are doing right now is that they're doing a lot of Zoom classes, and a lot of it is at no charge. So it's really at the expense of the instructor. But really, what that's doing in terms of the instructor is getting more brand awareness towards what they're teaching. So when this whole thing is over, if they keep doing this and then they start pushing out that they're going to have a live workshop, pop-up class, whatever, I feel like the attendance will be a lot higher because they've given so much value for free online. So yeah, use it as an opportunity to provide value for the end user, for your audience, instead of trying to get a transaction. Okay, so excuse me. So if you guys are liking this stuff, I do have a separate YouTube channel with my company Vision Paradox, so make sure you check it out. Links probably in the description. If you guys are watching this YouTube, check it out there as well. I'm gonna get to these questions real quick because there's so much happening. I appreciate the love, everyone. Okay, so questions. First off on YouTube, do I watch WWE or AEW? WWE or the OG WWF, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin 316, my Lord and Savior. Yeah, I grew up on the Attitude Era. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down real quick. Okay, so how can you be popular like you? Be friends with me, Amber. Okay, I'm gonna get to these in a bit. So I'll do this every Sunday. Yes, I'll try to do it every Sunday. Jay, I started my new YouTube channel, but having trouble getting subscriptions and views. Does that come with consistent posting, or is it just a matter of time? Oh, that's a fantastic question. So if you just started your YouTube, words. If you just started your YouTube channel, Jay, there's two ways you can grow your channel. One, obviously, since we're choreographers or we're dancers, you can leverage trending songs, and it'll be easier because people are looking for that. When people go to YouTube, they have the intent to look for something. Either they're going to watch a subscriber, either someone they're subscribed to, or they're going to look for, I don't know, inspiration for choreography, or they're going to look for their favorite song. Okay, because YouTube, despite Spotify being super popular in terms of people listening to music, people still would much rather go on YouTube rather than pay for a subscription. So if you're dancing to a Doja Cat song, they're probably gonna look for that on YouTube first, and then if you are early enough to produce a video on Doja Cat's newest songs, then you'll probably be found first. So the thing with trending is that it comes and goes super quickly, and you also have to be early and fast. That's the thing with something that's trending. The second way is search engine optimization, which is something I do a lot, which is more focused on questions people ask. Hence, which is why I'm doing this, because it's going to help me with search engine optimization. So when people look it up, people will see me and they'll be like, "Hey, here's my answer." So, but yeah, it's leveraging what people are looking for. So, which is one of the reasons I like doing questions like this, or even more to leverage, be more of a hybrid on both ends. Is you take a popular song tutorial, Doja Cat tutorial. Those do super well. I used to do a lot of tutorials that helped my YouTube channel grow a lot. So leverage what's trending, and and optimize it for what people are looking for. So hope that helps, Jay. So, and then obviously you have to be consistent over time, at least once a week, especially if you're just starting. And if you're trying to grow it, also cross promote. People don't just build it and assume people will come. No, that's like a big mistake. Share it on Reddit, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, share it on Facebook groups. Be unapologetic about something new that you've created, because you are excited about it, because this is your thing and you want to build it, right? So the only way people are going to know about it is if you share it. Don't just bank on people discovering it. Share it to your current network, because your friends are probably going to be your best support. So like you guys on here, I appreciate you guys being on here. Okay, so next comment is Amber. People have never been seen, or brands that never been seen are now being discovered due to the pandemic. Time to take advantage and be creative with the time. Be creative with the time and new way of doing things. 100%, Amber. Love you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Amber. So I'm gonna go back to these questions real quick. I'm gonna see my battery life. I got 8% on this. I thought I charged it. Okay. So question from. There's a lot of questions, not just here. Okay. Question on since we're going to be talking about doing some personal development stuff right now. So it's like really just mindset, and everything here that I'm sharing is my own subjective opinion of my filter of what I've learned, and hopefully what I've learned and what I'm sharing is something that you can implement on your own life as well. So the first thing. In regards to that, I'm gonna answer skeptics first. I'm like totally fucking up my format, but I don't give a fuck anymore. So, skeptic asks, can you give a motivational speech to those who feel like giving up on their passion? I don't know if I can give a motivational speech. I think I'm mostly a goofball rather than motivating. But those who feel like giving up on their passion, just give up and just leave everything. I'm just kidding. If you feel like giving up on your passion, I would say it's really reflect on several things, really. The first one is, what's your approach been since you started? Oh, hold on, let me get this. My camera stopped. okay, what's your approach been late, like since you started? Have you been doing the same thing over and over and over? You know, the whole insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over. So that's something to reflect on. The next thing is the timeline. I worked with people who just started their YouTube, and 4 months in they want to give up because they're not seeing the fucking results. It's only 4 months in, so consider the timeline of how much time you've actually put in. Because my favorite piece of advice that my professor gave me back in college was like, whatever you expect, however long you expect something to take, it's gonna take 3 times longer than that. So whatever success you want to happen in a year probably might take longer, and you've got to be patient. I'm not gonna say it won't happen in a year. It might, you know, if assuming, you know, there's a lot of things that fall into place, but we don't have control of the end result. We only have control of the effort that we put in. So, and the third is like, if you're feeling like you're giving up, I would say, talk to a mentor, talk to other people, your priest, your father, your mother, someone who's, I'd say, way ahead of you in life, in terms of either whatever it is, business or just life experiences, because they're going to provide you a different perspective from where you are now. You know, 30-year-old me is going to gives very different advice, would give different advice to 20-year-old me. So that's something to think about. And one exercise I would say, I think is pretty fun, is what would the 80-year-old version of you tell you right now? Because right now we're a lot of what we're doing is processing the current circumstances of how things are, and it can feel overwhelming. But the thing is, like, how often do we think about past challenges and think like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought? So it's tough to process certain things because we're in it. So getting outside perspective, self-reflection, I think is super beneficial, in getting some clarity to see if your passion is still in line with your vision of how you want your life to be. So, hope that helps. Okay. Oh no, I saw a question about choreography here. Okay, cool. Next question. Oh, same thing with skeptic. How can you find the right choreo for the right jam? There is no. I think finding the right thing is subjective. It has to go with your gut. Like how I choreograph is much different from how a lot of people choreograph, in my opinion. A lot of people are trying to hit the beats super fast, twitch, whatever it is. Not to hate on anyone who does that kind of style, but it's like, it's not for me because, one, it's overwhelming, and two, I just feel like I can't keep up at that kind of speed. So for me, I like doing almost like conversation, and at the same time trying to what's the word, enhance or bring to life the conversation that song's trying to bring out. So sometimes my choreography isn't that fast, but I try to make sure that the choreography I do, thank you for that, the choreography that you're trying to do has to feel good with you, and not just that, it also has to feel good to the students, but it depends on who you're trying to work with. So there's no right way to do it. The only thing that's right is what feels good for you with the song. Okay, so thank you, Wandering Musician, in regards to the compliment on the beard. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay, I'm scrolling back down. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get my charger real quick, right here. I thought it was charged. I might have to hold this real quick. Shout out to everyone who's, if you're still here, I appreciate you guys. Okay, got the charger here. I'm gonna have to hold it. It's gonna be a little awkward on this view. Okay, so last two questions. No, actually just one question. I feel like I'm gonna go rambling for a bit. Last question in regards to personal development. Okay, tips for people who are working at home for the first time. It's funny because Maxine and I, my girlfriend, were just talking about this on our recent podcast. I'm trying to set this down without falling. Okay, yeah, we just recently talked this about in our recent podcast. Our podcast is called Awkward Tea Party, so make sure you guys check it out. Subscribe, links in the bio. So, shameless plug everywhere today. Yes, working at home for the first time, I'd say the first thing is set boundaries of people you're working with. This is something I learned with Vision Paradox, working with clients trying to call me over the weekend. Today is an example. They've been calling me, not calling me, texting me, and it's learning how to set those boundaries and stick with them, because there's a saying that goes, what you permit, you allow. So that means if you let them slide, they're probably going to do it again and again and again and again, and it might be fine the first time, but eventually it's going to drive you nuts, because you feel like you can't relax. You feel like, it almost feels like you become their own personal assistant. So that's not part of the job description, assuming that you're not an assistant. So at least for me, we're a social media company. We're not trying to do things for other people over the weekend, because we have business hours. So set boundaries of when you're on and when you're off. And this is not just for people who you're working with, but also for yourself. This is something that I'm still working on, is when to turn off in regards to working. Like I really enjoy what I'm doing, and sometimes I just keep going, like, aside. Like, I normally try to stop at 5 or 6, and I just play video games the rest of the time, or hang out with my son. But sometimes I just get in a flow and I just keep going. Okay, and I think that can be okay. But on the daily, you want to make sure that you have time to relax and stop, because resting is just as important as working. And my girlfriend has also reminded me of the same, because she's caught me, like, sleeping less than I should. So yeah, know when to turn on, when to turn off. Give yourself plenty of breaks, because I would say, like, 8 hours, if assuming that you're doing 8 hours working from home, is long. So you want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of break time. So for me, you can still do, like, the typical, like, 1 hour, 4 hours, 30-minute 1 hour break. For me, I try to go with, because I get to set my own schedule. I sound super fucking privileged in that sense, but I try to work an hour and a half and do 30 minutes of rest, and then repeat. Because again, resting is just as important as putting in the work, because it's almost like working out. When is it more beneficial to rest than to keep doing the push-up or keep doing the bicep curl? So yeah, those are my tips. Set boundaries for yourself, get enough rest. And same boundaries also including your loved ones. So that's it. Sorry, this is getting a little shaky because I'm actually holding this. I'm trying not to let this live down. And then if you guys got any other questions, let me know. I'm scrolling through here because a lot just went through. I hope you guys enjoyed. I appreciate all the questions. Just gonna give some love to the Wandering Musician on Twitch for the complimenting the beard and the stash. Okay, my girlfriend loves it too. She's a fan. Okay. Maxine said on Instagram, you won't get fired for drawing the line, especially if you're not on call. So fair. So you can't get fired for drawing the line. Cool. So if you guys like this stuff, I do all this type of content on my YouTube. There's a lot of stuff. I recently just released an interview with a friend of mine, Galit. This is filmed pre-quarantine, based on, getting out of the comparison trap. Super dope interview. She goes from, like, we talk about everything, going from, like, getting out of the comparison trap, working with dance agencies, and dude, there's a lot, because honestly I can't remember right now, because I'm still working on more interviews that I'm trying to catch up on that I filmed through last year. So make sure you guys check it out. Links in the bio as well. So I'm just gonna give some love to people on Instagram. Shouts out to everyone that came through. Alejandro, Amber, Skeptic, love the questions. Max, I love you very much. Jay, appreciate you playing gaming with us, Jay, like, and letting me and Jordan help play a game session with you. Trying not to type. Shout out to LO Love for coming on here, to Syed, and I think that's it. Did I get everyone? Lionel, Marcio, and why does it keep trying to type? I'm not trying to type, dude. Sorry, my Instagram's bugging. So there we go. Work, please. Road to success, and that's it. Okay, I think that's it. If that's it for the questions, I'm gonna be doing a session. Like I used to do a Let's session, like I do every Sunday as well. So I'm probably within the next hour, I'm probably gonna do a live stream, just me doing a sessioning. answering some more questions if you guys got any. And that's it. I don't know how to end this. I feel awkward. All right, so yeah, again, if you guys liked all this stuff, check out the YouTube, more in-depth stuff here. Feel free to hit me up and send me DMs on whatever questions you got. I'll probably answer you via the voice there and add it to the question bank here. Appreciate you guys on Instagram. I'm gonna get ready to session and for the probably run at 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in a bit. Love ya. Peace. Okay. So, alright. So, oh, thank you, Arnev on D Live. Were you just lurking? So everyone on D Live, Mixer, on Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. QXZZ, Kit, Rid Thing, Wandering Musician, and Arnev. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys enjoyed this Q&A session that I did today, be safe, take care, and I'll see you guys probably next week for the next one, or when I do my freestyle dance session within the next hour. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out. This part's awkward.